the mic off. Uh, that's a new mistake for me, just because this is my first live stream, so I'm trying to figure things out as I'm going with it. Let me know in the live chat box if you can actually hear me this time, and then I'll say again what I wanted to say. Uh, yeah, so what I wanted to do in the last video, I posted, a lot of you have been asking me for an actual in-depth process of how I come up with an idea for an illustration, how I can design an illustration without just having like a really fast cut tutorial. So in this live stream, I'm going to try to do just that. I'm going to try to take an idea, find inspiration, sketch it out, and then create the actual illustration. Perfect. I'm happy to hear that I'm actually live right now. I was worried that maybe it won't work. So I have a couple of screens ready. Let me jump into Photoshop. So I'm going to use Photoshop for this tutorial. It's going to be, I was thinking about doing Illustrator, but I would actually like to do the sketch here on Photoshop. Previously, I was using the iPad to sketch things out, but right now my setup doesn't allow to have an iPad in the view as well. So I'm going to do everything in Photoshop. Yeah, don't hesitate to let me know if you have any questions, and I'll get started in a few minutes. I'll also use a live view of Chrome. So I'm going to use Dribble as inspiration. I'm going to show you how I'm going to go through some of the shots here in Dribble, find something that works with the idea that I have, and actually create an illustration, right? Let's go in Photoshop, and from now on, I'm going to start the process. I was thinking, what should I do for the very first stream? It's pretty nerve-wracking to know that you guys are watching, but hopefully this will give you some insights on how I create the illustration that I create. It's going to be a very simple concept. The concept is, I was thinking about meetings and how popular they are these days, just because a lot of people are working from home. So in the idea of having an illustration, a spot illustration about meetings, I'm going to create some kind of a device. I'm thinking maybe like a phone, and have one person inside it that's inside the meeting. So the concept is pretty straightforward, nothing too wild, just because it's the first time I'm actually doing this. So I'm going to switch to Photoshop right now. Don't hesitate to let me know in the comment section if you can see anything or if anything breaks down in this live stream, because there's no way to see it because I don't have two monitors. Okay, let's jump into it. Yeah, so I recently got a PC. I used to have one, but I forgot about it for like 2 years. And then I tried live streaming from the actual, from my MacBook, and that was a no-go. There was no way I was able to live stream video, to have a talking head video and the actual screen here. So I tried it a couple of times. nothing really worked. But then I got my old PC back and started installing new stuff on it. Actually, Photoshop, as you can see, I didn't really do anything in Photoshop on this PC, only the live stream thumbnails and stuff. But other than that, I haven't worked into it. One thing I did, so let's create a new document. Let's name it live stream illustration. And actually I'm going to make it bigger, maybe 3000 by 3000 pixels. Let's hit create. And I actually added my brushes. So in the brushes panel, this workspace is actually a painting workspace. So from window, go to workspace and you have the painting option. And in here, I added my grain brushes, Arcadia and Space Noise. And I also have a separate brush library. It's called Inkers. This is something I downloaded a while back, and it has a lot of brushes that are with ink. So I'm probably going to use this as my sketching brushes, and then go ahead, create the shapes that make the illustration from that sketch, and then apply colors, and in the end apply some of the grain brushes. Now what I'm using right now is an Intuos Wacom tablet. I've had this for a while now. I think it's a late model, maybe 2015 or something, but it works just great. So let's create a new layer, and I'm going to take a subtle ink nib, and let's see how this works. I'll need to move this around so I can actually see the screen. Yeah, so it works just fine for what I need. Maybe have the opacity lower, just because it's a sketch and I don't need it to be very visible. So first off, we need to establish what I'm going to draw. As I said, it's going to be a device. This is the worst writing I think I ever had. Okay, so I'll need the device. Then I'll need a person in it. So this can be, let me think here, it's probably going to be a woman. So once I have the device, I have a woman. What else do I need? So something specific to meetings. Maybe something specific to meetings. Yeah, you know how you have those three buttons where you can play the video, you can close the video, and what else? Oh, you have the microphone. Yeah, so maybe these three icons. And what else? I also need to find a pretty light color scheme. Colors. Okay, and I guess that's pretty much it. Let's jump into Chrome and see if we can find anything that could work for us. So I'm using Dribble as inspiration just because it's much easier to go through it instead of using Behance. On Behance, it's really hard to kind of see individual shots. You have to go inside the project, see if you like anything from that project, but with Dribble it's very easy to find inspiration. So I'm going to look for meetings and actually switch to illustrations, just because I'm not really interested in UI. Look through it, see if I notice anything. So one thing that I noticed is that you could have this speech bubble. I'm thinking something like this, very simple interface with, see, it has the icon with the video. Let me test things out, see what I got here. See, something like this. I really like something like this. So this is actually the first one I'm going to use as inspiration. Let's click copy image and paste it in. Now that I look, I don't think you've seen my screen inside Chrome, so I'm going to switch it to Chrome right now. 1 second. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. So the actual screen here. Yeah, only now I can see that you don't see my browser. I'm sorry, but I think I fixed it this time around. So I was looking through Dribble, just checking Dribble shots, and this is the first one that I actually liked. So what I did is right click on it, copy image, and then went into Photoshop and actually pasted in, just to use as a reference. Yeah, Narelle, thank you for joining. Thank you, Darius. Yeah, it's good to be live. It's pretty weird, but I'm trying my best. Okay, so now that I'm in Dribble, I already have my first shot that I'm going to use as a reference. I actually like the way, yeah, because I'm seeing a lot of round circles, so I'm probably going to create a very unique device and actually have a rounded device here. Okay, what else? Nothing really. Okay, so let me switch back to Photoshop. Okay, so I'm going to use this as a reference. All right, I'm going to use something like this, but have it inside a rounded device, and maybe have the two icons here and here on the sides. Very similar concept, and yeah, but I kind of like the idea of having three. Yeah, so just keep that in mind. I'm going to start sketching. Let's see, making sure that I have Photoshop actually live. Okay, I have Photoshop actually, because it would have been pretty weird to not be able to see it. So I created a new layer where I'm going to put in sketch. And I'm going to do a couple of passes over this, see if anything works. So I'm going to do a circle. This is how I imagine this device to look like. Maybe have something offset. Just have two layers of illustration, right? And then have a speaker here. Maybe I need to have some kind of a webcam or some kind of a space for a camera. So maybe this would be around here, right? Okay, let's try. This is my best attempt at actually creating a circle. Okay, so I'll have a speaker over here, I'll have the actual device over here, and then I'll have a person over here, right? So just start with very simple shapes, nothing too crazy, just because I'm trying to figure out how this composition can look like. Okay, so I'm going to try something like this. This is the person. A very low fidelity, very low fidelity design, but that's fine because it's just the first pass over here. Let's zoom in a bit so I can work on some of the details better. Okay, so in terms of body, I'm not going to do anything too crazy. Some like this. I think the face needs to be a little bit bigger. So using the lasso tool, hit Command T and place this here. For the face, let's zoom in, disable. For the face, I'm just going to do something pretty basic. So I'm going to have somebody that's kind of surprised, looking in. For the eyes, some circles would do so just fine. Then you have the nose, okay, and then like a smile. Let's define the face a bit more. The thing is that right now I don't really care about how this looks because I'm going to go over it. I'm actually going to go over it with the pen tool when I'm defining the shapes. So this is not the final look of the illustration. I'm going to notice what things work and what things don't work once I have this initial sketch laid out. Let's zoom out. Okay, so the question is, where do I place those buttons? So this one, if I place it on the sides, maybe somewhere around here, it would be pretty great. But which buttons to have? Or maybe here I can have 3 buttons. So what you actually need is, let's say that by default you're going to see the video stream. So on the left hand side, but it's going to be very hard to actually work on a device like that. I was thinking about having here the ability to close down a call, and over here the ability to mute yourself. So a microphone icon. This actually looks pretty good. If I have it here, yeah, I think I'm going to go forward with this idea, just because it might work a bit better for what I need. In terms of clothes, I'm not going to do anything too crazy, so I'm looking at this for inspiration. Maybe adding some kind of lines for the hands. Let's see. Or maybe have here the icons. Yeah, I don't really know. Maybe have here like the phone. Have here the way I initially set up. Yeah, so that's why with tutorials it's much easier to just go ahead. Hey Echo, so you ask if we can expect a custom font. I don't really know. I'm not sure if you guys are interested in that. If you're asking, I'm guessing you are interested. But I haven't really created any custom fonts by now. What kind of font would you like to see? Like a sans serif, a serif, something handwritten? What kind of font would you guys want to see? And maybe I'm gonna think about it. If there are enough people who are asking for this, if the world needs another custom font, I think I can do it. Okay, so now that I have the initial sketch, so it's a mess. This sketch is a mess. Is the first walkthrough. So I'm going to zoom out, and now I can actually use the full artboard. I don't really need to have the inspiration or the elements that need to show up. So I'm going to hit Ctrl T to transform this. Okay. Also, I'm going to use the crop tool. I'm going to crop this in a bit, just to have some space to work with. Okay, something like this looks way better than what I used to have. If you're going to buy, then yeah, I'm going to create a font for you for sure. Something handwritten. One pretty interesting handwritten font is actually from Charlie Marie. Check out Charlie Marie's channel. She just launched a handwritten font, which is pretty cool. But yeah, thank you for the suggestion. Also, don't hesitate to let me know if you have any questions about the process, because yeah, that's why I want to do this live stream, just because it's so much more interesting to have the complete process than to interact with you guys. Yeah, so I can't wait for any questions you might have. Okay, so now I have the sketch placed here on this layer. I'm going to lower its opacity a bit. I have no idea how to actually create a rounded outline, but I am going to use, I'm going to hold it here. It doesn't work I need to switch to my mouse. So now that I have the circle, just because I don't want to deal with the hassle of actually creating a circle that's perfectly round. I'm going to actually do this right now. I'm going to have a shape with an empty fill and a stroke. Maybe the stroke needs to be a bit bigger, and just so I can see it. Something like 11 should be fine. Let's create the first, while holding down shift, I'm going to create the first ellipse. Cool. And then click and drag on it to create a duplicate. Once you have a duplicate, hold down Alt, and it's going to go like that. So this is what I was picturing, something like this, a device that's not perfectly rounded. So I'm going to actually fill this in. Okay, and then I have my person here. Let me switch here a bit. Okay, now that I switched, I'm going to have another pass over this, and I'm going to try to actually get some of the details in, right? Because in this one I don't really have details like ears. I'm just going to go slowly and try to define this. I don't like the way this ear came out. Okay, let's do something like this. Comes down. Yeah, this is a bit more symmetrical. Okay, then I have the face, and of course the hair going down. I haven't drawn anything in Photoshop maybe in over a year. Since I got my iPad, I haven't really drawn anything in Photoshop. Okay, this would be the eyebrow. Maybe have the eyebrow over the hair. I don't know, looks good to me. Let's do the nose. And smile. I'm thinking about the hair because I'm not a big fan of this hairstyle. I think we can do a bit more with it. So let me sketch some ideas out. So maybe have something like maybe, I don't know what this hairstyle is called. Maybe like a hairstyle like this that goes by the neck. Oh my god, this is a mess. Yeah, let me go back. Okay, something like this that goes by the hair, and then something like this, and then I have that one. Okay, see, in the tutorials you don't see the 1000 undos I'm doing. So now that I have a live stream. Yeah, so do I use a Wacom tablet? Yeah, I'm using Wacom Intuos Pro tablet. This Wacom tablet, I've had it maybe like for 5 or 6 years. Honestly, since I got the iPad, I haven't drawn anything on it. You started designing with Photoshop, then one day you just open up Illustrator to follow a tutorial and found it to be super useful. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, so I actually love Illustrator. I enjoy working in Illustrator way more than I enjoy working in Photoshop. Yeah, so this is a bit more interesting in terms of style than what I had with that simple. Okay, let's go to the eraser and get rid of some of these things. Yeah, once you started checking each tool, You gradually fell in love with Illustrator. Yeah, that was me, man. Now you only use that to design anything. I mean, for product designs, Illustrator, I'm not sure if it's ideal, but for logos, definitely. For product design, I will try Figma or try Figma a couple of weeks ago. I'm not a huge fan of that just because I'm more into drawing, I'm more into trying to figure out illustrations, composition, so Figma is just for UI. You could definitely, just because it has the pen tool, you could definitely create illustrations in it. I'm not sure if I saw anybody actually create illustrations in Figma. Maybe I'm gonna try to be the first one. Yeah, so Echo, right now, are you working as a designer or? Oh, product design on Illustrator and then mock them up on Photoshop. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, you could definitely do anything with all of these applications. The thing is that you're only limited by a few tools. So illustrations, you can do it in Illustrator. Product mockups, you can actually do it in Illustrator as well. It's just, if you're talking about, I don't design characters, not very good at drawing, but I like to watch people draw. Yeah. From the look of this actual sketch, I don't think that I know how to draw too well, but it's just because I'm not used to Photoshop. I haven't used it in a while. Also, it's kind of weird to not actually draw on the screen. So with Photoshop, with the iPad, you actually have the ability to place the pencil, and it's so much quicker. It's so much quicker. I don't know if I'm going to be able to create like a stream where I have an iPad as well, but yeah. Nice to hear that you've been working as a UX designer. Nice. So for the past 3 months, you've been working as the chief designer of Celix. Yeah. So if you're working as a UI UX, also one YouTube channel I recommend checking out is Femke. I'm going to write it here. Check out. It's pretty good to see how other UX and UI designers are living out there. I think she works for Uber, or she used to, but yeah, that's a pretty cool YouTube channel. Let me know what kind of other channels are you guys watching. Let's create the notch, because of course if it's a device, it's a futuristic device, it has to have the notch. I'm curious when the notch will will actually disappear from phones, just because I feel like there. Oh really? You know her? Yeah. So I've been listening to her podcast with Charlie Marie. I think it's called Design Life, and it's a pretty good design podcast, just because they talk about some of the challenges that come with being a designer in tech. And also, like, if you guys don't know, I'm not actually working as an illustrator. I'm actually working as a design director for a tech company called PostClick. So I mostly manage projects and my team. I don't get to do a lot of design. This is what I like doing in my spare time. Why do I have this? Damn. It keeps clicking. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to have the speakers. I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything with it, but this is where I would like to have the speakers. Of course, I'm going to center everything once I start defining defining shapes. I'm also thinking about having kind of like a pattern going through the t-shirt here, but I'm going to see once I start blocking in colors. Okay, now that I have the illustration, you watch Kel Lauren, Kia Masalska, Zimri, Shantanu Kumar. Yeah, I watched Zimri as well. He hasn't posted anything in a while. Let me make sure that I'm in focus. He hasn't posted anything in a while, but I used to love checking Zimri. I know that he started doing videos again. Do you know VA Experience channel? No, I actually haven't heard about it, but I'm going to definitely check it out. So what's VA Experience? It's a design channel. Okay, now the hardest decision needs to come now. Where do I put those damn buttons? Because if I place them here, it's going to look a bit offset. But if I place it here, let's see. So I'm going to actually use the ellipse tool again, just to sketch things out. I don't want to wait for. Okay, let's duplicate something like this. Whoa. I don't know what I just hit. and coming back to the Windows shortcuts, that in it on itself is a challenge. Just because Alt and Control are actually reversed. So one idea would be to have these icons over here. Yeah, so you're asking if this is a client project. No, this is just a personal project. I want to create an illustration because I plan on writing an article about designers and being in meetings. Hey Yandri, what's up? Just because I want to create an article and I need for Medium, I need kind of like an illustration to go with it. So that's what I'm doing right now. This is a personal project. Okay, so I think this looks fine, but let me try create the other proposal as well, other idea. Thank you for responding to the subscriber request. No problem, man. Thank you everybody that's watching. It's really fun to do a live stream. I'm guessing this is way more interactive than just creating a video and then forgetting about it. I really like when you guys comment. Honestly, that's one of the best things about doing YouTube. Whenever I see comments that some of these videos have helped somebody, that's the best feeling. Okay, so it's either this. Let's group this so I can see how it looks. I don't know what language this is, man. Figo. Oh, is that or is that the name of a YouTube channel? Okay, so maybe you have this. I'm still not sure. This is crazy. I kind of like it to be on an interface. It's gonna be very hard to click on it. Yeah, it makes no sense to have it like this. yeah, so I'm going to have it like here, and then inside let's sketch something out. I'll have what I initially set out to create. I'll have the microphone, right? I have the microphone over here. I'll have the, how do you, let me see how does an icon look like when you close the call. I know it's like a phone. Something like this. Yeah, I think you guys can figure it out. Okay. And then over here I need to have the, so I had the microphone, closing down the meeting, and then yeah, the video. So I'm going to have a video over here, a video icon. I'm going to use the pen tool for most of these. So when I'm going to actually start designing, I'm going to use the pen tool, and it's going to be so much easier. Because working on a tablet, it's kind of frustrating for me, just because I'm not used to it. Yeah, so this is actually the design I'm going to go with. Let's disable the initial sketch. So something very simple. I'm going to use this as a reference, and using the pen tool, I'm going to draw around it, define the colors of the illustration, and then have some texture added to it. I'm not sure if I'm going to use a grain texture brush or maybe something else. I'm going to try it out. But for now, I'm just going to define it using the pen tool. I'll take the pen tool. Let's see if I have it here. No, so, oh, I actually do. So let me close down the brushes panel, and now I'm going to create, so this is the sketch. Let's group everything, and this is the sketch file, sketch. Okay. And I'm going to use this as reference, place it on top, lower its opacity to somewhere around 40 to 50%. And then I'm going to actually create the shapes underneath. Double click to edit that shape layer and create the first layer, place it in. And now I'm going to start actually defining all of these. What's that part above? Looks like a ring or something. The part above is is actually going to be the camera. No, so this is like a device where you can take the call. Okay, so let's start by adding shapes. I'm just going to use grayscale for now. So the first shape is going to be this one, no stroke. Let's place it here while holding down shift to make sure that it's aligned. Yeah, I need to, first off, damn, I haven't worked for so long in Photoshop. How do you lock this layer up? Let me know if you know how to lock the layer. Oh, over here. Perfect. Okay, so now I can place this over here. This is the initial shape. Command T. Make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to duplicate just because I need the second shape, which is actually going to be the drop shadow. Can you post this live after you have finished the stream in your channel? Yeah, this will be available in the channel as well once it's finished. Okay, you will fill the colors on the stream as well. Yep, I'm going to add colors to all of these shapes, double click on it, and let's select something lighter. Okay, this is pretty good. Now I need to start, so I need to create this notch. So in the sketch panel, let me get rid of the initial ellipses, okay, because I need to see this. I'm going to select this and then create a new layer on top so it doesn't go over it. So with the pen tool, I'm going to drag and create the notch. I'm holding down shift just so I can keep it kind of like straight. Let's see, where do I need to place this? Over here. This will be the same color as the shape, so make sure to select the shape option. This will be on top. Yeah, so let's center it a bit. Oh, this is a bit lower. Let's select the direct selection tool. Get it a bit higher up. I'm going to use this as a reference. Okay, something like this should be fine. Yeah, I didn't see the lock the lock option. Yeah, I didn't see the lock option, but now it's fine. I'm back in the game. Okay, so this is where I'm going to place the actual camera. So let's select a darker shade here. It's pretty unusual design. This is hanging over here, but it doesn't matter. It's good. Okay, this I'm going to create a rounded shape. Let's have even larger. Okay, yeah, some like this is way better. Let's center align it with it. Okay, perfect. I need to get it down a bit. Cool. I'm going to have to deal with the creation of the actual character. I'm thinking how am I going to start? Guessing it, since the character needs to be locked in. How do you select grayscale easily? Honestly, I have no idea. I just went into the shape tool, and from the fill you have recently used colors. Just you have a drop down here with multiple shades, but I just choose one, and then cool. Okay, so let's create the first shape, which is the actual body. I'm thinking, how am I going to clip this mask? So it's actually a mask, masked by this one. I'm going to have to figure it out later. So take the pen tool, hit P. Let's have a different shade of gray. Start with over here. Okay. Perfect. So I'm going to have to do something with it and actually have it. If it was Illustrator, it would have been so much easier to just use the shape builder tool and get rid of this. But right now I have no idea. So what other channels do I watch, like designing and entertainment? Yeah, in terms of entertainment, I watch Academy of Ideas. It's a pretty cool channel that has some interesting facts about life, about personalities and human behavior. Also for entertainment, I also like watching the Joe Rogan Experience. That's my favorite podcast, I guess. And also, I I recently found a pretty interesting channel. So it's called Spiritual So, S-O. And it's this guy that's talking about being woke and about like meditating and stuff like that. But he has a really interesting delivery. It's pretty funny. And that's like kind of a random channel I've been watching lately. Other than that, with design, I watch Charlie Marie, I watch Ran Segal, Flux, I watch Pierre Kleinhaus, which is I actually had a call with him and I actually talked about design, so check out his channel. He started like a year ago. What else? Zimri, of course. I used to watch Zimri a lot, and yeah, in design, these are pretty much it. It's not like there are way too many channels on design on YouTube, but yeah. Let me know if you guys watch any of the ones that I mentioned. And now I need to create the face, because this live stream is way longer than I expected, just because I was thinking that I'm going to do this in an hour, but staying here and chatting with you guys, this is more fun. Let's select a different color. This is for the neck. I can actually create this to be white, I guess. Let's select the shape, define it as white. Okay, create a new one with the face. It's actually going to start. So Romar is saying that I also watch Plane, as his style is very good. Plane. Let me know if you can. Shantaku Kumar. Sure. I'll check him out. So if you guys have any suggestions for channels that are into illustrations and this kind of stuff, I'm always interested in finding new channels to watch. Let's define it as a shape. This is the face. Nice. Now that I created it, I noticed that the ears are not perfect. Okay, now it looks better. For the details, I'm going to do it a bit later on. Yeah, so for everybody that has been watching my channel and always like I've had comments with people complaining that I work too fast. This is actually the speed I'm working on. So you shouldn't really compare yourself to an edited video. Keep in mind that it also takes me a while to create this. Of course, inside Illustrator, I'm a bit faster. Whenever I need to okay, so you don't really understand how you can select color easily. To select a color, hit Y to have the eyedropper tool. So this is the eyedropper tool, and you can just sample the color. And then you can see here, I almost pointed to it. You can see in the left hand side, you can see the color that you're sampling. And that's how you have a color. If you want to edit it, double click on it, and then you can adjust the color to be whatever you want it to be. Okay, now let's get back to this. Define it as a shape. Cool. And I also need to place these on top. So it needs to be on top of everything, having the same color. Pam pam pam. Okay. Shape. Done. So I guess I have the major ones. I have the major shapes. Let's also create the two rounded ones. Just because this is a bit too polished, I'm going to actually create those rounded shapes with the pen tool. So a question from Clark Kent. Not sure if I'm the only one, but working with color and especially gradients in Illustrator is a nightmare. I don't really think so. I mean, for me, it's just fine. I don't really have issues with Illustrator. I know a lot of people do, but I don't really. It kind of works for me. I don't know if I have a different version than what all of you guys have, but I don't have any answers for you why. Interesting. So Echo, you have issues with Illustrator as well? It's pretty crazy to hear that. Even on Reddit, so I post my videos on Reddit from time to time, and everybody has such a weird attitude towards Illustrator just because they have, I'm guessing they have issues with it. I mean, I'm only working with simple gradients, so it's not like I'm working with crazy gradients, right? Yeah, so maybe that's why it works. That's why it works for me. Okay. So I'm much more happy with these shapes because they're a bit unusual. Yeah, so they're a bit less polished. They all yeah, so seeing you guys have issues with this, I don't know what's going on. Why you have to switch from grayscale to RGB? I never had to do that. Dude, I have Illustrator the latest version, so I'm on a paid subscription, and I have the latest version of Illustrator, and I don't really have any issues. Maybe that's why. I have no idea if that's. Let's move the face a bit. Yeah, looks better. Okay, so maybe this will be clipped to this. This is the worst because I have no idea how to do this thing. Let's see if it's the dimension is enough. Let's go with the shape and make it bigger. Okay. I'm actually going to transfer over into, let's go to image and canvas size. Let's go here. Okay, so it actually needs to be like a banner, so the dimensions are off from the start. Maybe something like 2000 by 1200, 12,000. I forgot my numbers. Come on, mouse, you can do this. Okay. Yeah, this is way better. Okay. Let me turn off the sketch because I kind of know what I'm about to do. Okay, so one thing I'm going to do. I need to figure this out. So I'm going to hit Control and select this shape, and then with the shape selected, I'm going to go to select and load selection. Damn, it doesn't work. Okay, so maybe I'm gonna do it like this. Where is it? Yeah, it's this one. Okay. I knew how to do it, but now I haven't worked in Photoshop for such a long while, I have no idea how to do it. Okay, so then I would go here and select load. No. If you have any idea how I can intersect these two shapes, that would be ideal. I mean, I'm just going to have this shape, rasterize it, then I'm going to select this shape by holding down Control M, select inverse, and go back to the initial shape and hit delete. That's it, done. I don't want to hear about selection ever in my life. Hey Clark, so you said thank you for all of the tutorials. Oh, you're Romanian. Happy to hear that, man. Yeah, honestly, this is how I started. So I didn't really go to design school or anything like that. I started by just learning stuff on the internet, in Illustrator, and yeah, this is where I am now, doing live streams. So if you like watching tutorials, maybe one day you're going to start sharing as well. I would love to see a tutorial on how to switch from RGB to grayscale. That would be pretty funny. Okay, so now that I have this, I have kind of the illustration basics. What I need to do is create some of the shapes that make the face. Let's zoom in. Also, it's been like an hour, so I'm going to take, let me take a 1 second break. Also, you guys like don't want to know what I went through to to create this stream. I started maybe like 3 hours ago and tried doing some tests and every single test went wrong. Like one time I didn't have sound, one time I didn't have you couldn't see Photoshop, one time like there was always something happening with the stream. It was driving me absolutely crazy. But I'm happy to see that it actually works right now. Just because I was thinking that if I don't do it today, like I needed to do this for the first time, to do this live stream, and if I didn't do it today, I would be I don't know if I would ever live stream again, but I'm happy I do it. So you said that you hate Photoshop. Vector all the way. Yeah, I agree, but I just wanted to keep it consistent. Yeah, Echo, happy to hear that you also are self-taught. A lot of people are in the industry and they are actually self-taught. Oh, my back is killing me, but that's fine. How are you guys doing since the... When can you expect the article on a Medium? I don't know. Honestly, I have it written down. I have the main points written down, but I'm not sure when I'm going to add it to Medium. Are you guys working remote or do you guys have to go to the office? No promises. Yeah, so in case you haven't noticed, there's a delay from when I see your comments to when I can respond to it. There's maybe like a 1 minute delay, so don't let that stop you. I really enjoy talking with you. Okay, so now I have this. What do I need to do? I have the basic shapes laid down. I'm going to have to create the details. Let's grab the pen tablet, zoom in a bit, and of course for the face, let me select the face so I can. So this is the face. I'm going to rename it just so I know what I'm doing. Place a new layer on top, and let's create the eyebrows. Shape it up. I'm also self-taught, self-proclaimed Illustrator, still learning. Good. If you're still learning, you're doing things right. I mean, since I started design, I don't think I've ever stopped trying things out. Yeah, so it worked out in the end for me. I'm sure it's going to work out for you as well. Just keep at it. Try to learn new pieces of software. See what you enjoy doing, because that's the hardest part, I guess. Yeah, so these are the eyebrows. The hardest part is to find something that you enjoy doing. Industry in Romania, it seems everybody's looking for developers and not taking designers seriously. How do you communicate the importance and value of design when everyone thinks IT means development? Well, my advice for you is to not work for Romanian companies if they don't consider design to be important. Then that's up to them, man. You can't really change the industry and how the industry is being perceived. So I would recommend just looking for jobs in countries where they respect it. Yeah, so Echo says that I've been doing amazing. Actually, my love moved with me exactly before lockdown started, and I am so thankful that we are able to live together and enjoy each day of our life. It's been like 3 months. I mean, I'm happy that it worked out for you. I mean, I'm guessing it's pretty hard to... It would have been pretty hard not to have the person you're in a relationship with be right next to you, but I'm happy that worked out for you. Yeah, working remote. I'm curious how this will play out right now. So Clark asks, Do you work with Romanian clients or just foreigners? No, I work at a tech company, and it's a tech company from San Francisco. So, and even when I was freelancing, I never worked with Romanian companies. I don't think that's something to brag on about or something like that. Don't take it the wrong way. It's just that I've been having good success with companies outside Romania, you know. How do you stroke a path? This is the actual question. Yes, shape. Is this the shape? No, is this the shape? I don't know, man. I kind of hate Photoshop right now, just because I have no idea what to do with it. Okay, so this is how you do it. Okay, yeah, but I didn't want it to be part of this. I hate Photoshop for vectors. This was the worst decision. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure this thing out. Okay, so I need to create this on a separate layer. Let's go on a separate layer. Okay, then click the nose, create it. Okay, have it as a shape. Select it again with the direct selection tool, no fill, and it's going to have a stroke. Let's see how it looks. It didn't work, but we're going to give it a second try. So you have no fill. What the hell is going on right now? I'm going to do this again, but I'm just going to draw using the pen tool. I'm not going to try to outline it just because I don't have the necessary skills to draw it. Yeah, man, no worries. Happy to hear that you're enjoying everything that I do. So good to see that I'm actually inspiring some people, because this is what other people did for me. So I started design by checking out a graphic designer. It's called Von Glitchka. He has a pretty cool he doesn't have, I don't think he has a YouTube channel, but back in the day he used to have a lot of really interesting tutorials. He used to share them in a PDF, so I used to download his PDFs like maybe every month. He had a new one, and he would break down the process of an illustration. It was kind of like the highlight of my days. Yeah, so then I started learning Illustrator, then Photoshop, and here I am doing Livestream. Yeah, so I'm not gonna screw on Photoshop. I've put in too much time by now to stop using Photoshop, so I'm gonna go through it. What have you been doing since the lockdown started? I mean, I've been doing more videos for you guys, and other than that, I've been chilling. It's pretty nice to actually, like, I'm an introvert, so I don't really want to go outside, so it's actually amazing to not have to find reasons not to go outside. Okay, so many in the pen tool, in the upper hand you will see path. Okay, so I needed to select path. Okay, my bad. Okay, I just brute force my way into this. I didn't use any kind of outlines, but I am going to use outlines, and I am going to use the outline. I'm starting to believe the Photoshop will become obsolete soon. You can do more and more complete art in Illustrator. Photoshop will lose its place. I'm not sure. I think I think that Affinity Designer is probably the only one that can actually pull it off and actually make me change, just because you have vectors and you have everything that you basically need to create illustrations, UI design, prototyping, whatever you want. Photoshop, I still think it's here to last, just because it's been here for such a while. Cool. Okay, it took me like an hour just to create the face details, which is a bit slower than what I'm used to. Yeah, but thank you for staying with me. Okay, so I need to create these icons here. So I need to create, I don't even remember what I had here, but I am going to create something with it. It would have been so much easier in Illustrator, but I spent too much time now to switch it up. That was my bad. Okay, so let's create a quick hand-drawn microphone icon. It's not gonna be great, but at this point I'm so done with it. I just want to create some colors. Okay, shape. Boom. Let's add the different gray. This needs to be on top. Yeah, so as you can see, my layer management is amazing. I honestly don't know what each layer is, but at this point I'm not going to change anything. Okay, so I needed that. So this is like let's see if I can do something like this. Ah, damn it, I hate this. No, I need to go back and have something right underneath it. Yeah, so sorry if I'm not answering. I'm trying to get this thing done, just because it's taken me like 3 hours to define the... Okay, so everything makes... So sure, just sharing it helped me a lot, Romar. Okay, Echo said everything Adobe makes last. Remember Flash, it's Adobe Animate now. Yeah, it's going to just get switched around, maybe incorporated in different apps, who knows. Perseverance is the key to success, I guess. Yeah, and patience. I would say that patience is also crazy, because it's really easy to try to get started and hope that you're going to make a lot of money real quick. That's not the case most of the times. So initially, when I started designing in the initial maybe like few months, I didn't make any real money. Maybe it took me like a couple of months to make $30, but from there that gave me the confidence that I can actually have a career in this film. Okay, so this is the final one. I'm super ready to create a new one. I started from one. Echo, you're going to take a break. See you, man. Yeah, if you've been here for too long, just imagine me like trying to figure things out. Yeah, so thank you for joining. Beata also said that I started from Van Glitch's book and also like him. Yeah, he has, I think it's called, the book, it's called something like, what was it? Like Illustrator Bootcamp or something? Yeah, so that was his book, and I know I downloaded it or I did something with it. I don't remember. I have no idea. But yeah, I was watching his website, and on his website he had all of those process breakdowns that I was talking about. Yeah, so Romar says you can make shape instantly using the pen tool. Yep. Clark Kent, do you have another career before becoming a designer? No. Actually, I started once I got out of college. I went to engineering school, but I didn't work as an engineer. I only worked as a designer. Yeah, so my plan from so if anybody doesn't know, Clark has asked what was the plan since baccalaureate. So baccalaureate is actually in Romania, once you finish high school, that's how it's called, is the final test, and then you go to college. So my plan was to just, I didn't really have a plan. My plan was to become an engineer. That obviously didn't work out. But yeah, I had no plan. I had no idea what I was doing with my life, and during engineering I found out that I can actually start working as a designer, and that's what I did from then on out. Okay, so I have the illustration. God damn, did it take a long while. Let's zoom out. And it's finally time to add some kind of texture. Okay, I'm going to take a 5-minute break. I'm going to be back here in 5 minutes. Let me go to Streamlabs. Yeah, so I'm going to be back in 5 minutes because I need to drink some water, because I've been here for an hour and a half, so it started to take a toll on me. Okay. Hey, I'm back. Let me know if you can hear me. Yeah, if anybody can confirm in the chat that they can hear me so I can get started again, that would be ideal. I just had something really light to eat and I feel like super ready to get on with this design and actually finish up the illustration. It took me way longer than I expected. So I expected to finish the illustration in an hour. That's usually how long it takes me when I work without streaming. But with you guys in the chat, it's so fun to actually discuss with you and to actually talk with you and see like what your life is. Thank you, Darius. Thank you for letting me know that all is good. Okay, so I need to switch back into Photoshop. It's been a record long stream. Next time when I'm going to do this, I'm probably just going to create I'm going to create it in chunks, so just have 1 hour of streaming and then continue in a different day. I'm not sure. I was thinking about doing a monthly live stream, but this was so fun. I'm thinking about doing it more often, and by more often, once every 2 weeks, maybe have a live stream. Not sure if it's going to be with Photoshop. I'm guessing it's going to be Illustrator from now on, just because it's so much easier to create illustrations than Photoshop. I don't know why I thought about Photoshop being a good idea. Okay, so I'm back. Let me go to Photoshop. Back to the illustration. Now that I look at it, I'm seeing a couple of things that I don't really like. I don't really like the notch and how that came out. So maybe I'm going to actually get rid of it. Okay, so let's see how it will look without the notch. Way better. And maybe have this over here. Yeah, we need to switch things up because I wasn't happy with what I had. Let's see, these two shapes, they need to be equal. Yeah, so it's a bit shorter. This one need to make it a bit larger. Okay, let's move it a couple of pixels on the left. Should be fine. Yeah, I think this is way better in terms of design because I was kind of hating the notch, and that gives me the ability to increase the hair as well. Yeah, way better. I think this is, see, once you take a small break, you come up with different ideas. The one thing I don't like is the nose, so I'm gonna get rid of the nose and going to follow you guys' suggestions when you actually said that I should transform this as a path, and then I'm going to be able to place an outline on it. Yeah, so I was kind of confused. Don't know why I thought it needs to be a shape. Okay, so that's why I have no idea. So what is it? Is it a shape or is it a mask or a selection? Damn it. So I don't have the ability to have it as a simple path. Do you guys know? Hey Kesava, do you guys know how I can create this? This is taking me way too much time to figure out. Okay, so this is the shape. Now it's selected. Let's see if I make it a different color. It works, okay, so let's set it to... Oh, the stroke is too big. God damn, I didn't really understand what was going on. Okay, but how do I get... Yeah, it's actually killing me. Photoshop is killing me. slowly but surely. Let me go back. I'm going back to what I had. And yeah, this is the illustration. Okay, I'm going to I'm going to actually create I'm going to actually place the colors. So Kesava says that I'm so excited about you, when you're going to apply texture to it. I'm going to apply texture to it I'm planning to apply texture to it in a couple of minutes, but by the way this stream went, it will actually take me like half an hour. So I don't know. I'm actually planning to add texture in the next 10 minutes. So that's the challenge. Okay, I moved this. I moved this away. So I'm ready to add some kind of texture to it. But we first need a color scheme. I'm going to check, let's go to Chrome, and I'm going to check Dribble and find some kind of color scheme that might work for this. I kind of like this color scheme, but I feel like it's being overused with the violets. So I'm going to go for something a bit different, sorry. As you can see, so many shots with like a violet color scheme. It's interesting that this is becoming. I kind of like this one because there are a lot of things you can do. So let me copy. There are a lot of colors I can sample from there. Let's go back into Photoshop. 1 second. Back into Photoshop. And here I'm just going to paste it in. And because I don't want to have shapes and deal with the swatches panel, I absolutely hate the swatches panel. I'm just going to sample these colors by holding down Alt and placing them on there. Whoa. Okay. I kind of like this yellow and this red. Other than that, I'm going to use white and black as well. See, so I just sampled those colors, and I'm going to try to figure out how I can actually use those colors on my illustration. For the background, let's ungroup it first. Let me think what I can do for the background. Maybe have this violet or blue. I honestly don't know what it is. Okay. Now for, let's select the shape. The shape is going to be darker just because it needs to stand out. Double click on it, on the shape, and then you can sample the color. Cool. For the speaker, let's blend it in with this color. Maybe have this white, or have it the same color, or have it dark. Now let's go for a minimalist look. Also, don't hesitate to let me know in the comment section if you have any kind of suggestions, or if you have any kind of questions regarding the process. Okay, for the background, what am I going to use? I'm going to use the yellow or the red just because I want it to stand out. But it's up to what I'm going to use for the hair. So if I'm going to use red for the background, then I need to go for a blonde hair. I think it's going to look better with the red hair. So go with this. For the hair, I clicked maybe 3,000 times on this one, but it didn't work. Oh, this isn't a red, it's actually a pink. Okay, now the face needs to be a different color. Let's go with white. Looking good. And for the body, damn, I don't know for the body, because I don't want it to blend in with the background. See, this is not a shape since I had to clip it. I didn't really know how to clip it. So maybe use this. Let's see how this looks. If not, I'm just gonna go with black and that's it. This needs to be red as well, just because it's okay. So this is all, these are all of the shapes. Forget about that idea. I had big plans with the buttons, but it didn't quite work out the way I wanted them to work out. Maybe this is a good use case for the yellow. There are way too many colors right now, so I need to simplify this. But let's go ahead and just see how it looks like. Kesava says, why are you creating this in Illustrator in Photoshop? Maybe you can create this in Illustrator. Yeah, that's my question since I started this stream. Why am I creating this in Illustrator in Photoshop? For some reason I thought that I'm just going to sketch things out, and like I have the pen tool here, I can create an illustration here, but obviously that's not what happened. Good question. At this point I'm not going to switch just because I'm stubborn. So I'm going to go ahead and do this in Photoshop. Also, it's way easier to add texture in Photoshop, so you have way more control over the texture brushes in Photoshop, right, than what you have in Illustrator. In Illustrator, I feel like it's really hard to lay things on top of each other. It's really hard to find some kind of to go fastly and undo. So that's why I'm sticking to Photoshop, just in the idea that it's going to hopefully it's going to pay out, and it's going to be actually easier to texture this thing. Okay, so I need to figure out the face elements. It's going to be this dark. This isn't dark enough. I need to adjust it. So double click. Let's adjust it. Way better. This is way better, because it was kind of blending in with the background and I was having none of it. Let's see how a black one looks. Ooh. Actually, it looks better. And that way I can use the black elements for the face. So for the face, I don't know what the hell have I done here. Okay, perfect. Okay, so all of these shapes need to be black. As you can see, I'm kind of running through this illustration right now, because I put in so much time with it, and I don't really want to spend even more time just going through the small details. At this point, I'm just going to paste the style. Cool. It actually looks good. Okay, so the buttons are fine as they are. The face details is fine. I'm not sure about this one. Though. Make it smaller. Kind of weird. Maybe if it's the yellow. Let's see if I can place. The audio is not so clear. Let me check. Okay, is the audio better right now? Let me know if this is an issue for all of you guys. If the audio is not clear for all of you guys. Okay, so I think we're ready to get to the texture. think we're ready to move on to the texture. It would have been great to actually name all of these. I think it's time to name them, because it's going to take me so much time to understand what I'm clicking on. Video. Let me know if the audio is better now. Hopefully it is, because if not, I don't really... Hey Dev, what's up, man? Let me see if I have any emojis. I don't have time for emojis, Ed. I'm sorry. It's just going to be a hey. Let me move closer to the. Let me move closer to the actual microphone, because I'm hoping this is better. Hey. Okay, so I'm hoping this is better right now, because I don't have any other microphone. This is the best I got, guys. Should be fine. Let me know if for everybody it's a bit too low. Okay, back to the illustration. I was saying that this is the time to actually add some texture to it, but it's taking me like an hour just to rename all of these shapes. So I'm just gonna start, okay? I took right now I'm back with my Wacom tablet, so I'm using an Intuos Pro Medium tablet. Awesome to hear that the sound is finally good, because I don't really have a lot of control over that. It's up to the stream if it's going to be clear or not. Nice. Now I'm confident that I can continue the stream. Okay, so I'm just going to start with some of the initial shapes and shade them with the pen tool. The first one is going to be probably the hair. I'm going to add some noise texture next to it. Going to go for very minimal color scheme. So this is the shape. I'm going to place like a layer on top. Right click on it, go to create clipping mask, and this is where I'm going to shade. Switch to the brush and open up the brushes panel. From here I have my brushes loaded up. If you watch any of my tutorials, you should find some of the brushes for free, but I'm going to use, let's test a couple out. So I'm going to sample the black part and just go over it. Did it work? Did it work? I don't think oh, it's on the hair. Okay, so let's make it smaller. So I'm just going to go around it and just put some texture on top of it, just because this is like the back. Maybe you have some coming from the back as well. Okay, for the body, I actually have an idea for this. I talked about it in the initial portion of the stream, because I wanted to have some kind of a pattern that's going through it. So let's create a clipping mask, and here I'm going to have the pen tool, and I'm just going to go and create something like a topographic map. If you know what that is, that makes sense. If you don't, then you're gonna find out. It's just a series of lines that are usually used for creating maps, right? But I'm going to use it to actually define some of these patterns. Okay, let's place it like here, once you have the shape selected. Damn it, Photoshop, I have no idea how to use it. Are you gonna stream for a while? If yeah, I'm gonna tweet out your stream. I'm going to stream for maybe another 20 minutes. How can we be proficient? So I'm gonna pronounce your name. I'm gonna try to pronounce your name. Bambank. So how can we be proficient using a mouse and a pen? You can definitely do this with a mouse and a pen. I think it's just a matter of when you're adding texture, it's going to be a lot easier to add texture using a tablet, but using a pen tool, that should be fine. Okay, so I created this. I have no idea how to select it. I'm just going to get rid of it and just going to go in and create some kind of shading here. So let's see how a shade with yellow looks like. Did it work? No. Ooh, nice. Okay, so I need to go back. Let's go back and I'm going to select this. Okay, I need this color, sample it, disable this because I can't really apply any kind of texture to it if it's like a colored overlay. So while holding down Control, I'll select it and fill it with that color. Cool. Now I can actually shade. Let's remove this one because that wasn't looking good at all. Okay, so if I'm... What is going on right now? So I have the brush selected. Oh, it has a different color. My bad. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how this will look like if it's a yellow. Looks pretty good. Let's try it out with a darker shade. Oh, let's try it out with this pink. See how kind of weird. I don't know if it looks better or not. Hey Cosmin, you're one of the best content creators that I've seen on YouTube. You deserve more subscribers. Thank you so much. I'm trying my best. One of the best content creators is probably David. He's on the stream. I'm a close second. Make sure to check out his channel as well. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I think this is a bit too much. So let's see how it looks with yeah, the shading technique is not ideal. Ooh, I kind of liked how it looked like that. So I'm going to focus on shading one side, the right side. Okay, so let's select the hair as well and go to the yeah, I'm happy that you're happy. Bambek said, what is the difference between an Illustrator on a PC and on an iPad? Well, first off, you don't really have, if you're talking about the software, you don't really have Illustrator on an iPad. But if you're talking about the experience for me, how it is to create illustrations on an iPad, I can tell you it's so much easier. Okay, so now I figured something out. I'm going to need to erase all of these parts because I'm going to use a different brush to add some highlights. So these are the shadows, and to add some highlights I'm going to sample the yellow, go like this just to have some texture going. I'm not sure how this looks. Let's see how multiply would solve this. Yeah, so the difference between an Illustrator on PC, I don't know if Illustrator is coming out soon. I don't think I'm going to actually use it. Yeah, at this point, I'm trying my best to finish this illustration because it's been like 2.5 hours, and no, it's been like close to 2 hours. And I was thinking that I'm going to get this done in 1 hour. So I'm going to change it a bit. I promise that I'm going to share it. But for now, I'm just going to go through it. Okay, so I need some kind of, for this shape, for the neck, I need some kind of, let's right click on it, create clipping mask, and I'll start texturing it. Not a good color. Let's see if this is a better one. Nice. Yeah, this actually is a better one. For the face, create a layer on top, right click, create clipping mask, and add some shadows. And by shadows I mean a couple of grains. Hey man, thanks for saying that you love the content I'm putting out. Greetings from Indonesia. I hope that I can get to Indonesia one day. What part of Indonesia are you? Okay. For the buttons, I actually want to create some kind of shadows behind them. So I'll actually place on the t-shirt, if I don't move it. I'll actually place on the t-shirt, I'll place a couple of shadows using this dark color. This is way too much. Let me make it smaller. Way too much still. Perfect. This looks more like a shadow. Just because I want this to stand out, you know? So you can see the buttons. Honestly, I've tried, so one thing I wanted to mention, if you guys have an iPad or want to test things out on an iPad, I've actually tried Adobe Fresco and I'm super impressed with it. I've actually started using it more than Procreate, if you can believe that. Cool, so for the buttons, I need to put some highlights because I have the dark texture here, but I need to have some highlights at the top. Let's create a clipping mask and I'll sample the yellow. Let's see how this will look like. Pretty interesting. Let's try it out with white. You can't really tell what's going on. I think that's too much. I think yellow was better. Yeah, yellow is definitely better. Okay, what's next? Let me think about it. I'm going to have to add something to this shape as well. Just because it's inside, I'm gonna have to think about a way to actually have some kind of, let's see if I go with the dark, even though I don't really like dark. No, I don't really like how that looks. Let's go with the blue and hopefully it's going to blend in. Nice. Yeah, it's going to blend in with the background right now, and I think this is a bit better. Nice. And also on the face, maybe on the face, it could work to add a bit more grain, but using the same pink. Nah, that's too much. I honestly think this looks horrible. So this part with the dark, where I have the dark, I think it looks horrible. So I'm going to erase it and try something different. What can I do with it to shade it some way? Let's sample the blue. Let's sample the blue and try this out on blue. I think it's way too much contrast. So instead I'm just going to go once with the yellow, just because there is way too much contrast right now. Oh, I can have yellow here. Oopsie. It keeps clicking for some reason, but I promise that I'm not clicking. Are you guys still with me? Yeah, let me know in the comment section if the stream is still live, because I would hate for this not to be live right now. Okay, so let's sample the white color and see how white would look like. I think this is better, but then it competes too much with this. Let's move this a bit and have this moved a bit as well. Whoa, I don't know what's going on there, so I need to create a new one. I'm going to have to delete this one. Now that I look, this is a bit too much, like for this shape to have that blue outer rim, that's a bit too much. Maybe just have white. How about that? Let's just try white. Okay, I was clicking like crazy with my tablet. That's why I don't like pens that have buttons over there. They're actually really easy to click on it. Yeah, so still live. Nice. I thought my stream was gone for a second. That would have been the worst ending to this marathon. Because it kind of is like a marathon. Okay, let's disable this, just because I thought it was way too much, and use the white just to have it here. White. Yeah, I think this looks a bit more subtle. Previously it was too much. I mean, I'm using a bigger brush right now because I'm trying to create some kind of background. Happy to hear that I'm still live. Undo this because it's way too much. Maybe like this. I guess this is okay. And with this shape, I'm actually going to use the color that's in the background, that violet, to shade it. Right click, create clipping mask with the selected. Let's see if I go on the inside how it looks. If I go on the inside, I'm not sure, maybe yellow is better. Like some kind of screen bleeding out, you know, like casting some kind of a color to it. So let's place a new one here. Sample the violet. I was about to say orange, but this is a violet, I guess. That was way too much grain for one pass. Okay, so something a little bit more subtle, just to have this thing blend in. I think this is way better. Also on the hair, So that's the thing. I kept noticing things and going back to it. Also on the hair, let me try. It's too much color. That's the issue. It's way too much color. Yeah, something like this. Okay, I like the buttons, the way the buttons look. I hate the shadow on the actual body here, so I need to do something about it. Let's create a new one. Okay, those are those shapes. Yeah, because that black part is way too strong for the kind of illustration that I'm going here. If you have any suggestions on what I could do differently, if you're noticing anything that I can't, now would be the time to say something. Oh man, I don't know what I'm... Actually, this looks good. Yeah, so this is what I was going after. Like something subtle, but that has a lot of details here on the right hand side. But I need to make sure that this doesn't blend in too much with what I have here. So let's see how it look without. It would actually look better without it. Interesting. Yeah, it actually looks way better like this. Also, now that I have it here, I want to create some kind of texture going here on the bottom part of this shape. So I'm going to create a new mask here. See how this would look like if it would be to kind of blend in with what's going on in the background. Increase the size a bit. No, the size is too much. Make it smaller. Go through it. Yeah, I kind of like this. Perfect. Finally, something that I like. I love the microphone icon. I pretty much didn't know how to put into different shapes, and I was too lazy to create a new layer, so I just placed it here underneath. You can't really tell it's a microphone, but hey. Also, this looks weird, so maybe I'm gonna get rid of it and just have the... For anybody that's joining and doesn't know, this is like a like a meeting device. I'm trying to show how you can use like something like this device. It makes no sense. So I was thinking about meetings and how I'm joining a lot of meetings during this time, and I was trying to figure out how I can create an illustration for a Medium post I want to write about meetings and how designers should deal with meetings in these times. And I needed an illustration for the Medium article. This is it. So yeah, for this I'm going to need to shade it as well, just because it stands out way too much, because it's a flat illustration. Let me know if you have any questions. You guys have been awfully quiet these past minutes. Let me know if you have any questions or if you have any thoughts on this illustration. Okay, so that's the actual as a concept, that's the actual camera. I'll zoom in a bit just because I want to add some kind of white texture to this part. Okay, let me switch to white. So that's like a glow. Let's see if it looks the way I imagine it to be. Not really, but it is what it is. Okay, the face looks pretty decent. It's a bit too much. Okay, and for the background, I'm going to create a couple textures on top. So I want to have one texture that's this color, that's applied on the whole thing. I'm going to go, I don't remember how I was doing it, so I'm going to go like this and then pick up the eraser. But with the eraser, I don't really know how I can switch the... Hopefully this is it. Right click and just select it. Yeah. No, it was actually the brush. They kind of fooled me with this one. So how do you... Oh, I'm going to mask it. And so I'm going to create a mask. And with the brush, select the black color. Yeah, that's a pretty small sensor. You can barely see this guy. But for some reason, because the camera is so small, the camera is so small, as you can see, there's a lot of grain in the in the transmission. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is masking the initial texture I've applied onto this thing, but I also want some kind of texture here on this background. So on top of the background color, should it be white or black? Let me try white first. As I said, let me try white first. I sample black. Okay, this is some texture, I guess. Let's mask it and then start removing it. It would be pretty great to actually have some kind of a pattern going in the background. Right now it's a bit too dull. Hey MJ, Ed told us to say you're juicy. I haven't been told that I'm juicy in a while now, so I really appreciate the effort, Ed. It's what I needed to finish this stream up. If I didn't feel juicy, I don't think I could have gone another like half an hour. Okay, so I kind of like this texture. It's finally looking all right. So I like this texture, but I would like to have some kind of organic shapes behind this. Let me see what I can use. With the pencil, it's not ideal. I would love to have something that's like something like this, you know. Yeah, but like this, but only but only something that actually looks good. So I'm thinking about having some kind of shapes going in and out of the illustration. I actually like that. So let me see if I can pick up with the brush. Let's see if I can pick up an interesting brush. Not sure if you can see that panel, so I'm going to use this one. Right now, I have a couple of brushes loaded up, but I really like these ones, Inker. You can find them online. you can find them online. Just look for Inker brush pack. See how this one looks. It's a bit too textured for my taste. Yeah, this one is looking good. So I'm going to go with it. Nah, it looks really bad when it's bigger. Okay, I'm just going to use the pen tool. So go back to the pen tool. Be sure to have shape selected. And let's draw a shape that goes behind it. Let's see how this looks. This looks pretty good. Maybe if it's a different color, it will look even better. I'm going to go with this yellow. And then have behind it one that's black. One second, let me check to see if there was no music. Why didn't you guys say anything? I'm just gonna play you some ambient sounds. Okay, now I have the black color selected and it's behind the yellow one. I'm actually going to do a lot more streams from now on, just because it's way more fun to talk with you guys. And in the beginning, I'm guessing after 2 hours, people started running out of questions, but it was super fun when you guys were asking a lot of questions about design and all of that stuff. Need to move this one a bit higher and get this going like this. And I think it's done. I can't really believe that I'm saying this, but I think like this illustration is finally done. Of course, what I would do differently is work on the face. In Illustrator, it's way easier to stroke paths. It's way easier to actually put in an outline and have control over it. Here, I don't really know how to do it, so it was just a mess from my end. But that's the only thing I would do differently with this illustration. I'll work more on the face. I'm going to jump back to you guys. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining this stream and for watching. Thanks to everybody that actually put in questions. This was super fun. I'm going to do it again. I'm not sure when. I'm thinking maybe in like 2 weeks, because I do still want to create tutorials. As you can see, having 3 hours of an illustration is actually a pretty long process, and that's what I wanted to show you. In the last video, a lot of you have been saying that, hey, we want to see how you get your ideas, how you generate those ideas, how you sketch them, and how you turn them into an illustration. So hopefully this stream helped answer that. In the future, I'm going to do a lot more. I'm thinking the only mistake I did this time was Hey Arnav, hey, good to have you, even though you're kind of late. Yeah, so the only thing I would do differently is work inside Illustrator. Next time, in the next stream, I'm going to use Illustrator and going to use that as the software of to create the illustration. This time it was Photoshop, just because I thought it would be easier to create some kind of texture. Thank you so much for everybody that's joined. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and see you next time. Bye.